Greetings friends, welcome back to the channel, or welcome if it's your first time visiting. I have my handsome little man, Ezra Mateo, and today we are going to be taking Ezra on a short stroll through the neighborhood, and I want to take you guys along with us. It is going to be super hot here today, guys. They're saying mid-90s, so I want to get him out as early as possible and get back before the heat really gets unbearable. But I do have him all set up in the stroller here. He's ready to rock and roll. I love, love, love what he's wearing. I'll talk about that once we get outside. And yeah, he has his passy in, he's sound asleep, and we'll hopefully get a nice walk in, a little mini walk today with Ezra. And while we are walking, I think I'm going to try to do a tag reply for Suzanne over at Suzanne's Babies. She has a tag going around and I told her that I would try to participate, so we're going to do that as well, aren't we, Ez? Yes. Ezra was sculpted, cast, and poured, I believe, by Jennifer Costello del Cegno, one of my favorite sculptors and artists of all time. She also painted this baby, and he's got exquisite detailing. Hopefully you'll be able to see more of it once we're outdoors. His rooting is spectacular. I believe she had that done by another artist. It's phenomenal. I'm obsessed with this baby's details, his ears, everything, his little hands, his long legs, and he is the first in the edition. And I brought him home along with his sister Isla from the Dolls of the World Expo. Okay, we are outdoors, and gosh guys, I really had hoped to get out of the house by like 8:30, but it just didn't happen. Let me talk quickly about what Ezra has on today because I'm obsessed. This little getup is probably one that he will stay in for quite a while because he looks so stinking cute. Now, when I said getup, it's because this is not a set. None of this came together, actually. But I love how it just all goes, right? So we have this little like ivory or eggshell colored ribbed cotton short-sleeved onesie. It has buttons up the middle. You can see that there. And I believe that one is from Weedable, I don't know how you say it. But I got that little top from Jacqueline Kramer at the doll show. Just thought it would be the perfect little sweet, classic white top for like a staple in his wardrobe. And then this ribbed cotton bandana bib is in that camel color, and this came in a set that I got from Marshall's when I went with Isla. Now this little diaper cover is knit. It is almost in the exact same shade of camel as is the bib, and that one is from Carter's Little Planet. And then he has off-white knee socks on, and I even coordinated a pacifier to match in that taupe color. And he's got his little taupe and white bunny lovey that Aunt Melanie sent us. Okay friends, we are on our way. We're on our way. So it's going to be a little tricky now trying to get good lighting on him without having him drenched in sunlight. Guys, it is like, I want to say maybe, let me see, exactly 10:15 a.m. and I feel like it's already 85 degrees. And there is not a breeze to be had. Aw, poor baby. So we're not going to keep him out here for very long. So I just brought along this little lightweight muslin blanket. It's really more of like a swaddle or a receiving blanket size, just to cover up his legs from the sun. I have to take a walk every day, guys. That is my goal. And when it is super hot, I will try to keep it at about a mile to a mile and a half. Now, I have a treadmill. I do have a treadmill in my home that I'll use if it really is just unbearably hot, like this day is about to become. Let me go up on the sidewalk here. I walk curbside sometimes because the sidewalks in our neighborhood are just every which way. They're not consistently smooth, such as this one. You'll hit a smooth patch and then you'll hit one that's all bumpy, and I don't like going over all those bumps. See, look at this one. Look at this sidewalk here. You know, it's just, he's gonna bobble around. I mean, sometimes it's cute to watch him bobble. See? Here you go, baby. I'll put his passy back in soon too, guys. Yeah, now I generally never strap my dolls, my babies, into the stroller because, look, they're not going anywhere. And then you can't really see their outfits, and it's too hot, and they just look overheated. His cute little face. He really has spectacular details that, I mean, for a silicone, you know how sometimes people say, oh, you can't achieve the same amount of detailing in a silicone or in that medium as you can to vinyl. I don't know about that. I think the artists who are painting silicone now, they are just upping their game. And I mean, there isn't much at all missing from this baby or from Isla. Now, Isla has a different skin tone than Ezra. She is more like peaches and cream. And I know that some people are like, oh, they need to have all these blotches, these imperfections, right? Because all babies, newborn babies, have them. Well, I beg to differ. Isla does have, she's got a little stork bite on her forehead. She's got mottling and all that good stuff. She doesn't have blemishes, but she looks so realistic just in the depth. Both of these babies look so realistic in the depth of their skin tone. And you guys, when my children were babies, when they were newborns, and I have plenty of photographic evidence, neither of my kids had newborn blemishes or anything. Their skin was gorgeous right out of the gate, right out of the chute. But you know, that's how some babies are. They just don't have all of that newborn trauma. Like my daughter was a C-section. My son wasn't, but he was a preemie. And so he kind of was delivered very easily. He was smaller than most newborn babies would be. He was born 3 pounds, 10 ounces, 8 weeks early. But he just kind of came out, a couple of pushes, he was out. And as I said, my daughter, my firstborn, she was a C-section. And she came out, you know, with a perfectly round head, no blemishes, no signs on her skin at all of having gone through birth trauma. And the same was the case for my son, even though he was not a C-section baby. And now with my grandchildren, I've seen each one of them born. With my firstborn, my granddaughter, one of my two now, I've got 2 granddaughters now and 4 grandsons. But my firstborn granddaughter, firstborn grandchild, I was in the room with my daughter when she was laboring and when the baby was born. And let me tell you what, she went through the ringer. My daughter went through the ringer with that delivery. And my granddaughter, you know, she ended up having to be helped out with forceps, I believe. And so she had some swelling and a little bit of bruising, and it was like she definitely went through birth trauma. Even at that though, she did not have any scratches aside from the forceps marks, or mark, really, you can only see it on one side of her face. But she was like relatively swollen for the first couple of hours, but by the next day, she had beautiful skin. So, I mean, each baby is different. A couple of them, I think definitely one of my grandsons, if not two, no, one definitely had a couple of little stork bites, which are going away now. And they're just so cute. But yeah, aside from the average that you might see, I want to say that the babies I've been around, including my own, the real life babies I've been around, were never like so beat up looking and overdone with the marks and all of that. So when I see artists produce babies that way, be it in silicone or in vinyl, I'm like, I feel like it's overkill. I feel like sometimes the babies just look bruised and battered, and that, I don't know, it just seems like too much, too much sometimes. But in other cases it can look real. It just depends on how it is done. But suffice it to say that this little one right here, it's hard to see because here, like under the shade, it's almost like I feel like he's getting a bit washed out, and in the bright sunlight you probably wouldn't be able to see anything, but he's got beautiful detailing, bottom line, and they are just so realistic, and I just treasure them. And my reborns, the same. I think two of the most realistic when it comes to details in my collection are Luca and Evie, and those are my clingy monkey babies. She does a great job of striking that balance between realism and being like overdone and heavy-handed with all of that kind of stuff. All right, so I have to keep walking now. Just chatting away, standing there, and I'm not getting my steps in. So my goal per day is to get at least 5,000 steps and a minimum of like a mile to a mile and a half. And that's when it is just so warm and uncomfortable that I can't make 2 miles or 2.5 miles. Ideally, though, 2.5 miles is the goal per day. But you know how it is, like realistically, sometimes you're just busy and you've got other things to do. Like there are days where I will have to go to the dentist or the doctor, and then I have other errands to run, and then it's late and I haven't even walked yet, and it's impossible for me to get 2 miles in. But it is part of my fitness plan, guys. It's part of my fitness plan. Like, it isn't necessarily just to maintain my current weight, but it's to keep my heart healthy as well. It's part of my cardio plan, just to walk every day. And I love it. It just does something good to my brain when I can get out and walk, especially outdoors. Because I was starting to say earlier, I do have a treadmill, but I don't enjoy those walks as much. I don't enjoy walking on the treadmill nearly as much as I do walking outdoors. I'm grateful to have it though, because on really brutally hot days or rainy days, or even if it's too cold for me to walk outside, I tend to use the treadmill definitely more during the winter months than I do at any other time. But I've taken also to mall walking during the winter months, like the old people do. Well, you know what, if the shoe fits. So let's see, what was I going to do? Oh, I was going to also, in this video, respond to a tag that was started by Suzanne of Suzanne's Babies. Now, I might just try to do a little bit more walking and then head back inside because I'm thirsty and I forgot to bring my water bottle. But yeah, Wilson really like this stroller a lot, guys. This is the, I don't know, I think it's called EMU by eLittle, and it has a lot of nice features, but I definitely could use like an extra panel of sunshade or cover or hooding. So I have been looking on Amazon to see if I can get something that doesn't look weird, to attach to the top, to pull down so that he is more covered. If I were to sit him up some more, this would come down. I mean, it has nice ventilation panels in the back, but I feel like the coverage, the sun coverage, is a bit lacking in this stroller, not gonna lie. But anyway, it serves its purpose. It does. Of course, those are marigolds, I think. Pretty. I like when people do that. They put flowers by a curbside tree. It's really nice. I don't have any trees in front of my house. I wish I did. My neighbor actually just came out. He didn't even look in the stroller, but he was like, I bet you're heading on home. It's already 92 degrees, so yeah, I want to get this little one in. I don't want him out in this weather. I wouldn't keep a real baby out in this either, so we're going home, Liz. Let's see. All right, guys, we are back now, back at home. The landscapers should be getting here, should be arriving based on the time any minute. So I'm going to get Ezra indoors and give him something to drink and get myself some water and hydrate because it's brutal. It's brutal. So we will resume this video from indoors. Okay, friends, we are right back where we started from. Just inside the back door in the kitchen. But I did what I set out to do, which was to film this baby on a walk. All right, before I run out of time here though, I want to do a tag reply for Suzanne about an ideal day. Right, so the ideal day that I want to talk about, that I want to share, took place about 2 years ago when myself, my husband, and 2 of our kids and their families, we all went down to Orlando for a vacation together at the same time. We stayed at the same resort, and it was going to be, at the time, my then youngest grandson was going to be turning 1 while we were there. And he was the youngest at the time. One of my other kids was expecting the next baby to come along, but they didn't come because she was too pregnant. And yeah, so he was the youngest, and then there were 2 others with us, older. But the oldest was just under 4. So they were still kind of young, the grandbabies. But we were like, hey, even if they don't remember this trip, we are going to take a ton of photos and videos, and we did. And it would be a nice memory for them to look back on in years to come. And I'll tell you what, guys, even if someone believes that their kids are too young to appreciate Disney, because it is expensive. It is expensive. There's no denying that. But they still get so much excitement and joy in the immediate that when you are there to witness it, it is just something, it's definitely something magical. We wanted to go. We wanted to have my youngest at the time, his first birthday there at Magic Kingdom. And we all wore like birthday squad matching t-shirts, which was my daughter and my daughter-in-law's idea. And it was just picture perfect, guys. The weather cooperated in the best way possible. It was about maybe 78 degrees, bright blue skies, a nice little light breeze. It was picture perfect weather. The kids had plenty to do. I mean, there are a lot of little rides there that young kids can appreciate. There's the carousel, It's a Small World, a few other rides like that that they were able to go on. And even though at this point in time, none of them remember it because I've asked each one and they don't, we have the videos and pictures, and when I show them, especially to my oldest granddaughter, she gets this big smile on her face, and then she goes, oh, Nana, I remember that. I remember that. Even if she doesn't necessarily, she thinks she does. And it's like secondhand excitement all over again. But I think what made that day so ideal for me, that particular trip, because we have been there since, but not all together. Not all together. And that was probably the difference. But yeah, the fact that it was a family trip, and you know, as the kids get older, it's harder and harder to coordinate schedules. I see that already, because as we have moved forward with our trips to Florida, they just haven't been able to get on the same page with timing and everything like that. So that's what made it so ideal, is that we were all together experiencing the true magic. I'll use that word once again because Magic Kingdom is called that for a reason. When you get through those gates, if you've never been there before, gosh, guys, it's just impossible to describe. It's impossible to describe the emotion that it can have, that it can trigger in some of us anyway. He spit out his passy. As you're so cute. Yeah, I'm a Disney baby at heart, and especially that theme park. It is just something that gives me such joy. And when you go through the gates and you are walking, I guess, up Main Street, you'd say, up toward Cinderella's castle, and it's looming ahead of you, and there are the shops, and it just looks like this town out of someplace in your mind's eye in a fantasy. And you are transported out of your regular day-to-day life, and all your problems for that moment in time seem to be nowhere to be found. And you just approach the castle, and generally when you get in there, it's like this big show that they put on at the castle, and all the characters come out and they sing and dance, and there are balloons and fireworks. It's crazy. It's so amazing. And to watch that happen through the eyes of not only my own kids, enjoying watching their kids having this experience, but just taking it all in, just experiencing that for myself, the joy of my kids and their kids and my own. It's just like this combined momentary perfection. And yeah, I just feel as though that was an ideal day for me. You guys, I have surely kept you long enough, and I need to get to work. This is a work day for me. I know, I've been slacking, playing with the babies this morning. And yeah, I appreciate you hanging out with Ezra and me today while I filmed this video. I took my little mini walk. Not nearly enough steps, guys. It was just way, way too hot, but I'll make up for it. Alrighty, guys, so as always, stay close, stay safe, and stay healthy, and be kind. Be kind to one another, guys. Love y'all. Take care.